Hello and welcome to episode 5 of the Apocalyptic Knitting Podcast. I'm your host Naomi and I come to you from a very soggy West Yorkshire in the United Kingdom. It's Sunday the 1st of October and yeah, it's been really non-stop raining all day. For returning viewers, welcome back. You know the drill, go get a cup of tea and get yourself comfy. For any new viewers, welcome. I hope you stick around and enjoy past episodes as well. It's majority of this podcast is knitting related and also me sharing a little bit of my love for all things apocalyptic. And it is very tongue-in-cheek. I don't do any kind of survivalist kind of heavy, that's not me at all. I was talking to a friend who kind of said to kind of explain a bit about why I have this kind of fascination with all things apocalyptic. So in a bit of a nutshell, without being too heavy, I think the first 20 years of my life I was brought up in quite an, I don't know if unorthodox is too strong a word, or unconventional upbringing. It was in a very, don't know what the right word, organisation, religious group, where the whole kind of consensus around it was all around Armageddon, and that there was always imminently going to be like a end of world scenario and all that kind of thing, which that was all I ever knew. And for years and years, I say, quite literally put the fear of God into me. Safe to say I'm not in that organisation anymore. I was quite brave enough to leave, and it did kind of stick around with me for quite a number of years, and I think part of it will be. And I thought, well, instead of kind of feeling this trigger or traumatised from all this every time there's like a big news event, thinking, oh god, is that it? I thought, not healthy, so this is my fun way of putting light on things. Always quite intrigued, interested, fascinated with all the different end of all scenarios there are in films, and I love how people prepare last minute to work around it, to flee. Love all that stuff. So yeah, anything zombies, epidemics, floods, yeah. As I say, that's just my quickie little way of dealing with it, I suppose. So there we go. Am I prepper hoarder? Not really. I don't have like masses of cans of food in the larder. I prepare in certain different ways. As I say, you can always forward plan paying bills. I think I've got a lot of talk quite recently on about the cost of living crisis and little ways that we can kind of help ourselves and just kind of be more aware and trim down all those pennies that turn into pounds, and so forth and so on and so forth. I have been on my own little financial journey the last few months, where I'm trying to like go into kind of like a strict budget plan, because I do have impulsive tendencies. So yeah, so any little tips or advice I find along the way, I think if I found it useful, there may be people out there that find it useful too. So there we go. Anyway, starting off with some knitting talk. What have I got to show you? Well, yes I did. Yes, I did go to Yarndale. Was it planned? No. I didn't have the huge amount of budget that I wanted to for these things, so I set myself quite a modest budget and I stuck with it. For me, taking the cash out and putting it in my purse works a lot better rather than getting contactless and tap 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 tap. So anyway, what did I buy? So I was going to do it in the order that I went around the stalls, but then I probably can't remember. I did see, I went to Mothie and the Squid and I picked up a really cute little pin. Gillian had a box of all different pins that you could put a suggested donation in, and it was all the donations are going to food bank, which I thought was really, really generous of her. So I thought, yeah, and I do like purple and I am a star, what can I say? So I picked that up. I've been umming and ahhing about one of her colourways that she does, and it's called, I think it's called Winter Berries. It's on like a white background base with lots of red and black speckles, and I really, really like it. And I picked it up and I give it a squidge. But I think I'm toeing in with the idea of making a sweater out of it rather than socks, because it's a nice and neutral enough, but because my idea, because that's set in stone, I don't quite know what I want to do yet. I didn't want to just buy one skein and then later on decide to get 5 more and it doesn't quite match, or so I thought while I'm still umming and ahhing, I didn't pick it up. And then I went to a other stall, and you know what, I was that blinded I didn't even note who the vendor was, so I'm really sorry. But they were selling 100 gram skein, pure wool, DK, £1. £1. So yeah, it's yellow. I don't think it's my colour to do a whole jumper out of it or a hat or anything, but I thought I don't have much in the way of DK and I kind of want to build that up, so I thought it might kind of be like a nice to go as part of a colour work with something. So I thought for £1, can't go wrong. I then saw a skein of my dreams and I really liked it, so I took a picture of it and thought I'll come back to that later. And then at the end I went and I got it, and it's that beautiful that I couldn't wait to show you, and I had to kick it up already. Look at that. This is from Attic Spin Dye on Instagram, sock weight yarn, and I asked it because it was all twisted up like half black and half pink, and it was just really striking. And I really, my pet hate, I don't like skeins that pull. And if you're making socks, it just, but she said it'll knit up like a micro stripe, so I thought, ooh, I like that. So that's kicked up ready. I'll come back to my caking party in a minute. And lastly, oh no, it's not lastly actually. Martin's Lab. I believe they were, I think I last saw them at one of the shows. Might have even been Edinburgh Yarn Festival. But then I've only really started slobbering over their stock when it's come up on my feed and Instagram. So like this was like the first yarn show that I saw them actually there, and I thought, ooh, and this kept looking at me. Isn't that lovely? And now I don't know what it's going to be yet, but it's a good man colour for socks. I say man colour, I know they can have whatever colours they are, but I think a couple of the men that I knit for are quite traditional. Like all the darks and the blues and all that, so that's that one. And lastly, I was quite sad about this. I know I went to see Sable Yarns, and this is like literally like the last hour of the show on the Sunday. So it just made the Sunday really busy. Usually it's the last day and it's just a bit quieter, but I think everybody had that same idea, and it was really busy. And I noticed like on her yarn was like literally slashed in price, like £5 for a skein of sock yarn or something really daft. And yeah, she's closing down. So I was really cut. So I've got a couple of skeins of hers. I shall treasure them now. But I picked up this self-striping, and it was £10, which was really quite amazing for self-striping as well. So it's called Purple Rain. Don't know if you can see that. And these are going to be for me. So yeah, those two are reserved for me. And I think I've been thinking in my little head today, I've got, as I say, the next 12 weeks, I'm really busy with, well, I'm always really busy with work. I'm also starting, I want to say uni, I don't know if it is uni. Yeah, it is uni, because I'm doing, yeah, I do a couple of days, like a virtual classroom. It is, yeah. So I'm doing a SIPS level 4, which is Chartered Institute of Procurement and Supply. So I'm in the procurement field, or procurement in the railway. And yeah, I think going back to my upbringing, I wasn't permitted to go to college or university at then, so yeah, I've just literally been in work since I was 16. So this is all new to me. And I've also got an additional course in November, so I've got a really kind of cram-packed couple of months ahead. And so yeah, and I think I've had this weekend for the first time in like 10 years, where I've had the whole house to myself. So my husband and my young son have gone to his parents just overnight, and I normally go with them all the time, but I've just got that much on, and I said, would you mind just this one off, if I can just stay behind and just catch up with myself? And you know, it's been lovely. I say naughty, I'm naughty. I did about 5 hours, 6 hours of work on Saturday morning just to catch up and get something that would normally take me a couple of days in the office, but you know, when you're at home, no interruptions, no nothing, and you can actually just crack on. So it was worthwhile. Got through some jobs around the house I've been meaning to do, and I had a winding party because I've got a Swift and winder that none of my furniture in my bedroom or the living room can clip onto, because mine are quite chunky and it's got quite a little clip ledge. So my son has a desk in his room, and I said, when you're away, would you mind if I went into your room and just, he's like, yeah. And I do ask permission because he's coming up to 13 and I like to think that his room is his room. So yeah, but yeah, he was fine. I moved all the gaming paraphernalia out the way and placed it back right where it is. So yeah, that was all I got at Yarndale, so that was really good actually. And I stuck within budget. I think I had a budget of £50 and I came home with change. So that was good. Some more acquisitions. I feel like I've spent fortunes and I haven't. So do you remember I'm talking about all my upcoming plans and I'm knitting all these jumpers? And I'm knitting the Ribinia sweater. Is it Ribinia or Ribinia? Which I believe is a Norwegian designer. Look it up on Ravelry, it's really lovely pattern. But the yarn that they've suggested is really quite pricey if you get everything. So I've gone for Serdar tweed, so like a bit of a commercial, but it's got the right fibre in for some of it. And then I got the mohair from Ducky Darlings when she had a little discount on, thank you. So I showed you that last time, which I also wound up today at my caking party. And so I'm doing this for my sister-in-law, and she said, oh, do you want anything towards it, let me help. And I said, well, there's just the other yarn that I need, which is the cream colourway, but it's like Angora and cotton, and it's like a really fuzzy thing, and I just couldn't for the life of me find like a commercial or just a cheaper substitution. So I told her what was needed and she's ordered it, and it's come. Are you impressed? This has come in the post and it's been sat for about a week and I've not opened it. Are you impressed? I'm a bugger. I can't. I get so excited of doing it. I can't wait to open it. So I thought I'm going to open it on the podcast. So sorry for the sprinkles, for the crinkly paper. Oh wow. Oh wow. Look at that. Okay, all fuzzy. This is really quite soft. So it's called Isega Eco Soft. And it is, yeah, 56% alpaca and 44% organic cotton. So that is really nice. So this kind of makes up the contrast. So that's, oh, hang on. I've also got the tweed as well. So you'll knit with those two held double, and then that's like the contrast. So I've got everything that I need now, which takes me nicely into works in progress. So actually I shall start with some finished objects, because I had a couple finished objects this afternoon. Part of my little finishing on my bits and pieces and bits around the house was weaving an ends. I did this great big list of all these thoughts that were coming to my head. I thought, just jot them all down and tick them all off. So I did. I like lists. I think I showed these last time, but yeah, I wove the ends in on these. These are some socks for me. I won't go into too much because I showed them last time. Couple of Christmas knits, but I don't think the recipients watch this, so that's fine. We've got a grey headband, and we have a pink headband, which is nice. It's nice if you're like me, and I sometimes overheat with hats, and sometimes you just want your ears warmed up. So I did these are actually, I don't think I used the pattern, you know. I held DK double with these needles. Oh, my idea not telling me the size, is it? I think they're about like a size 6mm. Yeah, about a 6mm needle. And I just did about 24 stitches, 1 by 1 rib, and I was literally measuring it around my head. And then there's a little YouTube tutorial on how to sew them up to get that nice little thing there. So I did that and I sewed them up this afternoon. So those two are done, and I've got some wool left over of that grey and of that pink, and I've got I've got a couple of people I know who are expecting babies, and one isn't finding out what they're having, so I'm going to do a grey hat. It's quite a nice soft grey, and one is having a girl and they would like a pink hat, so I'm going to use those up, and that should be all nice. And I like using up stuff, and sometimes when you use something and there's stuff left over, I kind of like using up all the odds and ends. So there we go. Now I can go to works in progress. Actually, I do have one more finished object. It's there. I have done a little short video of me modelling it and wearing it. I was gonna wear it for this podcast today, but it is quite warm, which is no bad thing. But obviously I think as the weather gets cooler, it'll be really toasty warm. This, can I reach? This is the thing, I'll get it if I'll stop being lazy. This is the, I've been pronouncing it wrong. Oh my goodness me, I was mortified. I thought it was, I've been calling it the Ribinia Sweater. And then the designer came on like a video releasing it, and I realised I've been pronouncing it wrong. I'm so sorry. It's called the Athama. And I want to stick, oh there we go. You can see that yoke. Look at that. And I really love, you can see the sleeve decreases, and it's, oh god, it keeps slipping off the hanger. Yeah, it's a really nice, got lots of positive ease, which is really nice, but without being too over baggy. I really like the sleeve instructions because I'm over 6 foot, and they literally just go a little bit past my wrist, so I just feel all nice and cozy. So yes, the pattern has been released. It is by Curio Stitches, so please, oh, that's the hanger. Go and have a little look, because she's got quite a flurry of patterns coming out at the moment, so if that one doesn't quite take your fancy, have a look. She's got a few others that are coming out in the pipeline, and yes, my brain doesn't quite work and I probably can't remember what they are. So yeah, go and have a little nosy. So works in progress. So this sweater that I'm doing is using the same pattern as the Aran, but it's on DK. So I did all the sums, and yeah, I bought 2 pure wool hanks of yarn from, now I've found out his name, Riverside Knitting Yarns. He's very incognito in the knitting shows. He has no social media presence, not on Facebook, not on Instagram, not on nothing. And he's quite, not blasé, quite chilled out. And he'll go, oh yeah, make sure you take, it's better to take too much in case you don't see me again, bada bada bada. And so I bought these 2 skeins and it come to a total just under 700 grams. Now the lady who I'm making it for is quite petite, so I thought that'll be plenty. And then I knit the back. I thought, oh my goodness, it's gobbling for the wool. So I'll show you what I mean. So this is the back. And I've knit it an inch shorter than what I wanted it to because I was panicking. But I put all the sleeves on the stitch holder, but I didn't break the yarn. And then I thought, what I'm going to do is I'm not going to go onto the front straight away. I'm going to knit one of the sleeves, and that'll be roughly about half. So I knit the sleeve. It looks very diddy, but it's a drop shoulder one. So I did that, and I weighed, the back of the sleeve comes to 289 grams, which left me with 300 and something, so just under 400 grams of wool left. So I can breathe a little bit of a sigh of relief. I want to knit that extra inch on the back. Obviously you've got a space where you shape the neck, but it is a double layer neckband. But I think I'm all right. I think I'm gonna have just enough. I think I'm not gonna have loads left over. I think I'm probably gonna have like 20-30 grams, which will be nice. Like, you know, you've not overbought or stuff like that. So I am on the second sleeve now, and it's good because the back is a bit of a slog. And then you do the sleeves and they kind of speed up a bit. So I'm hoping to finish this sleeve tonight. With the I really want this jumper finished by middle of October, so that I can start the Ribinia one and get that done in time for Christmas. So, there we go. So only one thing, I've checked the needle sizes that I need. It's got a bit of a weird construction. I was a bit of a nosy at the pattern. It's a paid for pattern. Well, obviously I'm not going to reel off the whole pattern instructions to you now. But yeah, it's like it's got no neckband. Like you knit the neckband starting off, and then you knit straight, and then you join the round later, and it's all a bit. So I'm hoping it's not too complicated that if I'm tired or anything, I'll just mess it up. I don't think so. Yeah, it's colour work, so it's quite a nice straightforward colour work. So I am really interested. I am really excited to start it. I don't know if I cast this on last time, but I started a shawl. I know it's not for me. It is on one of Curious Stitches yarn base. This is called Book of Shadows. I want to say Book of Dreams, but Book of Shadows. And that's where I'm up to so far. Well, I'm mid-row. Oh, so I'm doing the eyelets in a contrast colour. So this yarn is part of a sock set. See if I can find the other bit of wool. Where are you? There you are. So they kind of came as contrasting. So I'm doing the eyelet rows as a bit of a contrasty there. The pattern name might help. It's one I've used before, and it is called the Tan House Brook Shawl. Tan House Brook Shawl. So there we go. So that has taken a bit of a back burner. I think I wanted to have something commutable size, so that I was doing that on the train while I was working on the back, because the back's a bit but then when I've been doing the sleeves, they've been a bit shorter and a bit more easier to knit on the train, so it might get a bit more attention next week. So it's that one. You're probably gonna laugh at this, but it's on the needle, so it's a whip. I started a sock when I went to Yarndale, because I thought I just want something I can pick up, put down if we're sitting down for a cup of tea or whatever. So I picked up, and that's as far as I've got. I'm doing a lot of pink at the moment, aren't I? So on my long list of things to do, I've got lots and lots of socks, but about 4 pairs of these socks are for children. So I'm thinking they'll be quite quick to do, aren't they? So this is from a friend's little girl who is 6, I believe. Yeah, I think she's 6. So those are for my friend. She's a little cutie. So that's them. And I think that is all I've got as regards to whips. I did have a great big caking party, because as I say, so on my list of all the socks that I've got coming up for Christmas presents and all stuff like that, every one that had been picked was for ones that were still in a skein. And you know, it's like of an evening when you come back, you've done tea, you're knackered, you just want to get on and do it, don't you? You're thinking, oh, do I sit and hand wind for like half an hour first? And it gets all tangled up and all that. So yeah, I picked them all out. And when I've had this weekend to myself, took a long time, and yet your arm hurts. Anyway, I'm wittering. So yeah, I've also wound up. Oh, look at that. So that is Potion from Snuggly Stars, and that's going to be for me. I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet, but there you go. And these are some socks for my cousins. Now, I can't remember top of my head if she wanted that as the main body and that's a contrast, or the other way around. This is Spice from Easy Knits, and this is Love Yourself from Dusty Dimples. It's really cute. Yeah, I also wound up these from Fab Funky Fibres that I got. These are going to be for me. I do love Fab Funky Fibres. I know they're a bit pricey, but they're really, they do some really nice stuff. I also found some remnants. Those of you with young children will know all about Minecraft. And this is the Creeper colourway from Gem at Snuggly Stars, and I remembered I had some left. And I said to my friend, my cousin's boy, I said, because he loves Minecraft, I said, would you like some socks, or would you like, you know, like sweatband and stuff, because I noticed like he had some like braid bank, like braided what are they called? What is it? Bracelets or wristbands kind of thing. So I said, please don't quote me on it, just in case. I think I've got it, but I lost it. But I think I might have some left to do a little sweatband, so I'm gonna do that for him. And yeah, and this was one that it did split into like 2 halves. Don't know why, but not pretty. This I got, she's not been on Instagram for a couple of years. I hope she's alright. A lady I was friends with called One Pink Zebra Knitter. Oh my god, we have some lashes, so funny. And about 4 or 5 years ago, it might even be longer, we did, so she lives in America, and we did a bit of a fibre share. We each kind of like did a box of all different yarns, so some British yarns and everything. And this is what was gifted to me. Oh my gosh, yeah, she could be some cookies. Oh my god, they're amazing. They were really good cookies. So yeah, so these have been picked out for the sister of the girl who I'm doing the pink socks for. And I think I'm feeling a little bit like flustered with all the knitting, but to be honest with you, I think that's because of the whole work's busy and uni and this, because at the end of the day, if I give people's knitwear 2 weeks late, then they're not gonna be bothered. All that bit's in my head. And I think once I get the cream jumper out of the way, and I get on with the blue and white jumper that's stuck in it, I think that'll knit up quite quick. I think it's because this jumper's taken me longer than I expected it to be. Do you know what? It wouldn't surprise me if what I'm making it with isn't DK. I wonder if it's actually sport weight. But we'll get on. Progress keepers all the way forward in these situations, I find. And I think that's everything I've got knitting wise. Yeah, I think once I start doing the jumper in the evening and getting the socks and the commuting, because I mean we've still got like 12 weeks, that's like ages. I've got a fly going around, it's doing my nutting. Money tips. What have I been up to and what can I pass on? I've been doing a bit of shopping online for grocery shopping, to see if overall I spend less, because I'm picking it out and I'm not just going around the supermarkets when I'm hungry and going, oh yeah, all the biscuits. So that's been quite good, and it gives me time to think about what I'm ordering. So you think, do I need that item? I can go to the kitchen and check, actually, yeah, we're okay. And it's also, when I think about doing the online shopping, I always kind of need it for like the next day, and then I realise that there isn't always a delivery for the next day, so it's the day after that. So then we have these fun little games where we're eating out the freezer and making random dinners, which is always quite good. Needs the imagination, that bit. Same again, I had another meet-up with friends. I normally like to meet up in the summer holidays, but we were just busy every time one of us was free, the other one was busy all the way through August. So we had a day out at the National Space Centre in Leicester. I thought I'd been there when my boy was little, but I think it was the first time. So I'm just gonna have a drink. Oh, that's better. So we went there, and it was a really good day out. Some of these places say, oh, you can stay there for the full day, but when after you've been there for about 3 or 4 hours, you've seen everything. We were there for about 5 or 6 hours, and I still don't think I got to see everything. And then when you pay your entrance fee, which is about £16 or £18 for adults and a few quid less for children, you got there and they said these are now actually your annual passes, so you can come back. So I'm thinking that's quite good, because that'll be like a relatively, I'm not going to say free day out because it's still petrol kind of thing. So yeah, it's going to be a good day out. We took sandwiches to cut down on some costs, although they did have like a little cafe type of place that did some lunches, and to be honest with you, as these places go, they weren't too expensive. So you could get like a hot dog for like £4. They had like nachos or bolognese for like £4.25, so it wasn't too bad. But I thought, no, we took some packed lunches. I did take a couple of bottles of water, but I got through that. I'm on some medication which makes me quite thirsty. So I ended up buying a bottle of water, and what I didn't realise is it was actually an aluminium reusable water bottle with screw top, lid and everything. And I've tried getting reusable water bottles like local supermarket and what have you, and they just leak all the time, and I've felt quite frustrated because I'm sat with this hard plastic bottle that's, I feel like, I've damaged the environment even more. But yeah, aluminium, it's keeps it nice and cold as well, so I was quite happy with that. And it wasn't pricey, it was like £2.50, which is probably what you would expect to buy a normal standard throwaway bottle of water at these places. I was quite happy with that. So yeah, I don't want to go back too soon to the place, because then they'll be all like, oh, been here before. But I might kind of go in the spring, and then it's been 6 months, and then go back again. So that was quite good. Films, what have I watched? There was a film I watched on Netflix called Nowhere. It's only just been released this week, I believe. Now it says it's like based in a dystopian kind of world, but you didn't really see a huge amount of the dystopianness about it. I'm not going to spoil the story because this is already what it says in the intro. It's about a woman who gets, for events that lead up to that situation, she gets stuck in a shipping container that is like floating around the sea, and she's pregnant, and you can guess what happens. And yeah, I'm saying there was some really good little survival tips in there, and that's what I like. It's about when push comes to shove and you don't have that many resources about, using that logic, using that creativity to kind of say what resources do I have and what can I improvise on to survive. But yeah, it was a really good film, worth a watch if you are fancying a Sunday night film. I like watching a film on a Sunday night. Did I watch anything else? I did. I also watched, not really apocalyptic, but I watched In 3 Days. I think it was something 3 Days with Russell Crowe. Bit of an action film. Wants to try and break his wife out of prison. That was quite good. It was so good that I really wanted to keep my eyes open, but I ended up falling asleep at 11 o'clock last night. Which for those of you that know me, at a weekend I like to stay up till like 1, 2 in the morning, and I could not keep my eyes open. But then I was wide awake at 7 o'clock and I managed to do all the things today. So there we go. I think that's about it for me, really. Yeah. So thank you so much for tuning in, and I am really trying hard to keep the podcast either every week if I can, or if not every 2 weeks, but I'll try not to leave it so long. All right, bye for now.